Gates and Jordan reveal a twist in the Orr scandal that has MSM panicking, by US4Trump.com. Congressman Jim Jordan and Matthew Gaetz joined the Hannity Show and added a valuable piece of information regarding the FISA court abuse. Additionally, we learned that 12 lawmakers are still calling on President Trump to declassify the FISA documents. Bring it to the American people. Since Bruce Orr testified in front of Congress, we have learned that all the key people at the FBI knew what was going on before they took the dossier to court. Jim Jordan refreshed everyone and said that Orr met with McCabe, and they knew of Orr's involvement. They knew who paid for it, and they knew Christopher Steele was anti-Trump. Sean then told the audience that this was the, quote, insurance policy team. Page, Strzok, Orr, Steele, and McCabe were all involved with the dossier prior to it going to the FISA court. Matthew Gaetz said it's like you have the board of directors of the deep state. And Sean said, and they all hate Trump. Additionally, Andrew Weissman, now on the special counsel, also knew about the unverified dossier. Jordan reminded the panel that he knew before it went to the FISA court, too. Jordan then breaks down what happened. The Inspector General wrote a report in June, and McCabe was found to have lied 3 times under oath. As a result, he is facing a criminal referral. Specifically, there is a grand jury panel looking at Andy's culpability in leaking the information to the press in 2016. So let's take a listen instead of me saying what's going on.
Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan, Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz. You know, when you look at the people that Ed mentioned in his report, Page and Strzok and Bruce Orr and McCabe, we got all the central figures in the insurance policy aspect of this. One has to wonder, is this now and Christopher Steele, one has to now wonder, is that where this is leading Jim Jordan?
Yeah, the first guy that Bruce Orr talks to after he meets with Christopher Steele is Andy McCabe. He calls him up a day or two later and then meets with him and Lisa Page. So all the key people at the FBI knew what was going on before they take the dossier to the court. They knew the Orr's involvement, they knew who paid for the dossier, and they knew that the guy who wrote it, Christopher Steele, had told Bruce Orr that he was desperate to stop Trump. And we don't believe they conveyed any of that critical information to the FISA court when they went to get the warrant to spy on the Trump campaign. That's why this is so important we get it. And they knew this all up front, right when it started in late July, early August. That's why this is so critical that this information become public.
And that's the point. If you got Page, Strzok, Orr, Steele, and McCabe, you got the whole insurance policy. Matt Gaetz.
And
it's almost like you got the board of directors of the deep state together, Sean, and you know, I mean,
but they all hate Trump. The one thing in common, they all hate Donald Trump.
Andrew Weissman knew too, as well, Sean.
And he gets you're right. Because let me just add one thing. Because Orr is hearing from Christopher Steele over 70 contacts, and not only are they talking about firewalls not wanting to be exposed, but also, oh, did you get my stuff to the special counsel, which we now know a contact was Andrew Weissman.
And Sean, to put a finer point on what Jim had said, it's not the statements or words in these documents that we're looking for, it's the omissions. It's the information that is not presented to the courts. I mean, we caught the Orrs red-handed. You got Bruce Orr shuttling information to the FBI that was developed by his wife, and the money paying for it all came from the DNC. I mean, the Orrs are probably the most dangerous power couple in Washington since the Clintons were running around this place, and I think that until we get the information about what was presented to the FISA court, we won't know the full depths of the misconduct at the FBI and Department of Justice to inappropriately lie to a court, and I think that the penalties are just starting to rack up.
Well, then let's go to the issue that we now know grand juries in panel, Jim Jordan, and then the issue of unredacting by the president and declassifying by the president. Do we have any idea? We know witnesses are called. Does that mean that everybody that was involved in that phony, fraudulent, Clinton bought and paid for dossier, the fraud on the court, and information withheld purposely, more fraud on the court, is everybody that signed that now in legal jeopardy, perhaps?
We'll see. What we do know is the FBI and the DOJ had a sophisticated leaking project going on. Andrew McCabe lied about that, according to the Inspector General, 3 times under oath and faces a criminal referral. And as Ed pointed out, there's now a grand jury been impaneled on the Andrew McCabe issue. So this is what they did, I believe. They leaked information to the press, and then they used the reports the press wrote to buttress the false dossier to give it legitimacy when it was a false document. That was the game that was being played, and we know that from Devin Nunes' memo that the Intelligence Committee put out, where they cite news reports to add weight to the dossier. It was all baloney, this circular game they play. That's, I think, maybe the biggest concern that we see.
All right, last one.
And we may see members, we may see members of the media caught up in that as well, Sean. You'll remember there was a reference in the Inspector General's report to members of the media inappropriately giving gifts to people at the FBI to get stories and get tips. That may have facilitated the illegal leaks, and I think people could go to jail for it.
All right, great work. We'll see if that happens maybe as early as this weekend or early next week. Good to see you both.
And all of this, and I think people should go to jail for it, Gates ended boldly. All of this on the heels of President Trump, who wanted the Attorney General Jeff Sessions to investigate the New York Times. The New York Times that printed the anonymous essay days ago. And as a matter of national security, President Trump believes it is appropriate to have attorneys look into it. Exactly. They based the whole investigation. That's why when they were asking in Congress, when they were asking Rosenstein and Wray and Strzok, everybody, like, what was it, and Andrew McCabe mostly, was the FISA based solely on the dossier, or did they have any other information? We can't answer that because it's classified information. You know, they weren't answering that direct question, but now, slowly but surely, Gates, Jordan, Judicial Watch, they're getting to the bottom of this. They're investigating everything, and they're getting to the bottom of it, and it's very close, I think, now. And then if Donald Trump, the president, declassifies, then heads will start to roll, and roll big time. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and again, thank you so much for watching.